Hey, 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 hey. Good afternoon, and welcome to Joe's Real Estate Show every Monday, 12 p.m., right here, 12 p.m. noon on Facebook Live. Uh, Hope you guys are having a good Monday, a good afternoon. Hope you had a good weekend. Hope you enjoy yourselves. Even though it was raining most of this weekend here in Orlando, Florida. Um, Again, welcome to Joe's Real Estate Show, presented to you by Derilus TV. Every Monday, excuse me, every Monday, 12 noon, right here, live on Facebook. If you don't know, my name is Joe Derilus. I am a real estate agent here in the Central Florida with A Legacy Realty, and where we set out to set a goal to set a legacy in the Central Florida community and all over the state. In fact, one home at a time, one house at a time, one property at a time. All right, so I'm gonna jump right into it. Today, I am talking about something very interesting. All right, I know it might seems like so why would a real estate agent talk about reasons not to buy a house? Well, just like everything, there is a good reason to do it, and there could also be the wrong reasons to do it. You can do things for the right reason, or you can do things for the wrong reasons. And when you do things for the wrong reasons, well, things don't really go well. Okay, so I want to talk about the top 10 reasons not to buy a house. All right, the top 10 reasons not to buy a house. So I'm just gonna go through these, and I hope it could be helpful to you. Um, if you're in the buying process, if you're in the uh, if you're in the buying process, if you're thinking about buying, those might be certain things that you may think about. All right, so the top 10 reasons not to buy a house. All right, top 10. First of all, we have previous maintenance. Previous maintenance. What am I talking about? That is one of the reasons you don't want to buy a house is if the house itself was not properly maintained by the previous owners. You wanna if the house is just in terrible condition, it is not in a livable condition. Obviously, that's done once you get the house properly looked at. You get the house properly looked at, I would say, um, and even to the point where if you're within the buying process of getting the house inspected, if it doesn't meet your requirements, if it doesn't meet the inspection requirements, then that is not a reason. That's a reason not to buy a house. Okay, so before you purchase a home, it's important to have a trustworthy home inspector that you can rely and hire to inspect the home. As the buyer, it is your responsibility to make sure that the home is inspected before you buy it. All right. What a home inspector can do is just tell you how long, different things, how long the roof has been on the house. What condition is it in? What what sort of issues that the flooring may have, the AC, different things in the house that could affect you once you move it into the house. All right. So previous maintenance is a key reason for you not to buy a house if it's not where you need it to be. Some people may like the fixer uppers, or you may be looking for a ready to move, or ready to move in type of house to come in. All right, so that's 10. All right, we're gonna just count down. We're gonna count down. There is no particular order or order of importance, or really order of magnitude. It's just 10 reasons for you not to buy a house. So reason. So we're gonna go from we started with 10. We're gonna go to 9. 9 is job stability, right? Job stability. Think about this. What is your current job? First of all, even in the buying process, you're looking at most loan mortgage companies or loan officers. They're looking for at least 2 years, um, at least 2 years of work history, right? In the same job or the same field. Okay, that's only for stability. All that means is the mortgage companies want to make sure. Okay, well, if you are at a certain job that's allowing you to afford this mortgage, they want to make sure that you're gonna be around. You're gonna stick around with that job in order to continue to pay their mortgage. Okay, at the end of the day, what you're buying a mortgage. You're not necessarily buying the house. Okay, so if you're in a current job that you don't like, or if you have a history of just changing job every 6 months, every a year or so, or you may be in a period of your life where you're just trying different things out. Okay, you're trying different things out, and you don't really know where you are or what your thing is, and you're just trying different things out. It may not be the best time for you to buy a house. Okay, maybe you want to wait until you have a little bit more stability in your job, in your career. Then you can be ready to actually purchase a house. Are you confident that even the position that you're in at your job, are you confident that that position is stable? You know, companies are really sort of downgrading or cutting different departments. Is your job stable? Not only are you stable as far as an employee or an employer or even a business owner, is your job, is your market, is your industry stable? So those are things that you need to think about if you're thinking about buying a house. Um, are you are you is there um, um, yeah, so overall job stability. Are you stable in your job personally, and is your job itself or your position itself stable? Um, are there any cuts coming? Can you project any cuts coming at all that can affect your income, and your ability to pay your mortgage? All right, so that's number 8. Number 9, I'm sorry, is the job stability. Next thing is, one reason not to buy a house could be the neighborhood, right? The neighborhood, for various reasons, right? The neighborhood could be, okay. Is it a neighborhood that, okay, I'm gonna buy this house in this neighborhood? Is this neighborhood improving, or is it not improving, right? Um, Once I buy the house, do I see the value of the home because of the neighborhood that it's in increasing, or is it decreasing? Also, another thing to think about is, okay, in this neighborhood, can I truly afford to live and maintain my home in this neighborhood? Now, we all want to be in the best of neighborhoods or whatever, but just buying the house in that neighborhood is not enough reason for you to buy a house. Okay, so you need to ask yourself, are like the house that are being sold in this neighborhood, what are they selling at before I even buy it, right? Um, are their values increasing? All right. Um, is this neighborhood um, growing? Let's say that the city decides to build, I don't know, build a stadium in that neighborhood. What's going to happen to your house? So you want to pay attention. Like, for example, here in Central Florida, in Orlando, Florida, we have the I-4 project going on right now. There are some other projects that's going to affect that area of the city. We recently, well, not recently, but in the past couple of years, we've had a soccer stadium built, in downtown. So that affected people that lived in that area, and it's still affecting people that live in that area. We're talking about different professional teams coming into town, where those teams, they're going to need stadiums, they're going to need training facilities. All those things you got to be thinking about is, okay, what is my city, what is my town planning for certain areas? If they're planning to build a school at a certain place, that also may be a good reason. That could be a good reason for you to buy. Or we're talking about reasons not to buy not to buy a house. Again, this are the top 10 reasons not to buy a house. Okay, because again, there's always good reasons to do something, and there's also bad reasons to do the same thing. All right, you just want to make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. Also, thinking about the neighborhood, you can also look at, okay, what I'm purchasing a home in this neighborhood. What are the rental rates in that neighborhood? Okay, if I'm buying the home and let's say my mortgage is going to be $1,500, what are people renting at $1,500, or are they renting more? Right. So if they're renting more, that's good. Okay. If they're renting less and you're buying more than what they're renting, that may not be such a good thing, right? So those are things that you have to think about. You have to consider when you're when you're going to buy a house. So that's definitely huge. Also thinking about is the down payment. Okay, the down payment on the home. It's always best practice or advisable to have at least 20%, 20% of whatever the purchase price is of the home. That way, you can have very low interest rate on your mortgage for the remaining of the purchase price, right? But that's not always the case. But it's a reason for you to think, well, if I can have that down payment within a year or two, maybe I need to wait. Maybe I need to wait. I know it sounds crazy. This is coming from a real estate agent, but that's the reality. That's the reality of it. And it may be best for you to wait and get that down payment in order, because you're talking about making a decision that's going to affect the next 15, 20, 30 years of your life. Yes, at some point you can sell the house, and you can sort of get rid of it, but it's a commitment and a long term decision that you're making. You want to make sure you're making the right decision. All right. So down payment is a reason not to buy a house, or not having the down payment, or not having enough for the down payment, because you don't want to. Back in the days, they actually used to let you borrow the down payment, right? They used to let you borrow the down payment, but now not so much. Not so much of that is done, because it caused a lot of issues back in the last crash that we had in 2007, 2008. So you want to make sure that you have enough down payment. If you don't have enough down payment, then you may not be ready to buy a house. Okay. Next thing is school districts. Okay. Um, you This is a reason not to buy a house because of this. Um, we all want to put our kids in the best of schools, and the thing with schools is that you can't necessarily um, you don't know you don't know when schools are going to change. What happens is when a town or a city or an area changes, usually the school changes as well. So what happens is a school just has a bad year or a bad couple of years just out of nowhere. Let's just say that all the students decided, hey, look, we're not going to do any work. We're not going to do any work. We're not going to focus on school. And now that school, after you've decided to buy in that area because of the school, either the school closes down or the school starts performing badly. Well, now what are you going to do? What are you going to do? So that's not a it's part of the reason, but it should not be your number one reason for moving into an area. Yes, you want to look out for your kids. You want to make sure your kids have the best education, but don't let that be your sole reason to buy a house. Okay. um, this one is pretty interesting. I call it the Me Too effect, right? The Me Too effect. One reason not to buy a house is because everyone is buying a house, or it's because your friends are buying a house, or it's because um, your best friend or your brother, your sister that you're always competing with, bought a house and now you feel like you have to buy a house. That is not a reason to buy a house. Do not fall under the pressure of the Me Too effect. No, 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 don't do it. Don't do it. You know, um, it's not, look, you want to make sure that you're prepared to be a homeowner. Okay, you prepare for the expenses and the responsibilities that come with being a homeowner. Okay, all right. So make sure that, and on that same end, I would even I would even talk about the whole rent versus own um, sort of tactic, you could say. Um, sometimes it may be best for you to rent for a while. Okay, it may be best for you to rent for a while. Okay, yes, I know it's crazy. It's crazy. I'm saying this, but it's the truth. My goal with this is not just to come in and in trying to get you to a place where you come and buy a house with me. At some point when you're ready, I'm sure you're gonna call the person that you feel is right for you and can lead you to accomplishing your goals. But I also want you to be aware. I want you to be informed. I want you to be educated. Okay, so when you're making a decision, you're making a decision that's best for you, not the decision that's best for the agent. Okay, because at the end of the day, it's about you. It's about you. It's your name on that mortgage. You're the one that's gonna pay it. You're the one that's gonna pay it. You're the one that's gonna be responsible for it, not the agent. Okay, so it's about you. All right, so yeah, so you don't want to fall under the pressure of the Me Too effect of I want to be a homeowner because it's cool, or because of what's being said about it, or because my friends, my high school friends are buying houses, or my college friends are buying houses, my family members, cousins, aunts. It doesn't matter. You have to be ready to be a homeowner yourself. All right. Another reason not to buy a house, okay, is a credit score. I talked about that, mentioned that earlier in a post on Facebook. Is if you have a low credit score, first of all, it's going to make it harder. It's going to make it hard to get a loan, and it's going to make and getting that loan, it's not going to be at a preferable rate. So in that case, it may be more beneficial to you to wait another 6 months, wait another year, or wait another 18 months until you can get your credit to where not only will it's going to allow you to get maybe a slightly um, bigger bigger mortgage, but also a better mortgage. That's even more important. You're going to get a rate that is not going to cause you to maybe after a few years now you have to refinance, right? So you pretty much you want to do it right the first time. Okay, if you have no real necessity to just buy a house now, wait it out. Wait it out. Build your credit. This it's a process. Find your professional that can help you with that and get it done. And when you're ready, you go and buy your home. So don't. A reason not to buy a house is low credit score, or bad credit scores, or a non-favorable credit score. That's a reason. That's a reason not to buy a house. Having that type of issue. Um, another reason not to buy a house is your lifestyle. Okay, your lifestyle. Are you the type of person that, let's say, you move every 2 years? You move every 2 to 3 years. You're in a different city, different town, different state. Then that you may not be the best person to own a house right now. Yes, you can rent it out. I understand that. But do you want to go through sort of, have that responsibility now of owning something that you're not necessarily there to take care of? Yes, you can hire a property manager. You can hire someone to look over the house for you. But home ownership is not for everyone. It's not for everyone. I know it's crazy. Why is he saying this? Why is he saying this? Um, Again, I want you to be informed. I want you to be educated. I want you to be empowered to make decisions when it comes to just this when it comes to your life. And I know this, this industry is huge when it comes to affecting people's lives and affecting really the economy. So the more people that we have that are educated, that are informed, that are empowered to do the right thing and make the right decisions, the better it is for the entire industry. All right. So yeah, so definitely lifestyle is huge because you don't want to be, if you you don't want to necessarily be tied down, right? If you need to go, if you need to go, because now the process to now sell that house, this is it's a little bit of time. Okay, yes, it could happen in a day. It's happened before. Homes are listed, and tomorrow, there are buyers ready to get it off the market. But it's also, it's a process, and no one can predict that. People can give you all the guarantees they want to, but no one can predict exactly when the house will be sold. So you would have to wait on that. And you may just need to go. Maybe you have, your job is sending you to another state or sending you to another area, and then you have to wait for that process to be done. All right, so lifestyle is huge, and also the lifestyle also will determine, maybe where you buy. Yes, everyone may be buying in this area, but that may not be suitable for your lifestyle. All right. Another reason not to buy a house is debt. Debt, yes, debt. If you are, if you have, certain amount of debt, first of all, it's gonna hinder you from getting the type of mortgage that you want or the amount of mortgage that you want. That's one thing. Secondly, it may be best to pay that debt off and then buy a house instead of adding more debt on top of what you have. Right? So that's the reason, you know, um, not to buy a house is you already have a significant amount of debt. Yes, I know. Yes, there's a lot of things you can do. You can use, you can buy a home that can actually help you pay off your debt eventually. But again, there are situations that it may be best for you to pay your debt and then you can go and buy that house. All right. Um, and lastly, and this one's kind of silly, is a reason not to buy a house is because you qualify or you receive some sort of pre-qualification mail or email and says you're qualified to buy a house. Go out there now and just find you the house of your dreams. You know, you may have gone through the process. You may have gone through all the steps, and you are qualified, right? You have the qualification, or you have the pre-qualification, or even the pre-approval to buy a home, and you say no, I'm all right. That's okay. I'm not ready because of all these other reasons that I've mentioned. Because of all these other reasons that I've mentioned. Okay, so I mentioned, okay, previous maintenance of the home. If the home is not prepared, then don't buy. If the home is not what you need it to be, don't buy. If after you've gotten the home inspected and it's not where it needs to be, don't buy. And your seller is not negotiating with you, don't buy. Right? Do your job stability. If you know you're you know let's say you're sort of growing in a company, right? You grow in a company and you're one of those employees who are willing to travel. You're willing to relocate. That may not don't buy. You may not be the person to buy right now. It's very simple. Okay, again, I talked about the neighborhood. The neighborhood. The neighborhood changes. Neighborhoods they change, right? So the neighborhood may not be suitable for you, may not be suitable for your lifestyle. All right. Also, the neighborhood may not be the same in 5 years. The planning, the zoning, all that stuff may change in that neighborhood. So that's something to look at. Okay, that can cause you not to buy a house. That could be a reason for you not to buy a house. Um, Down payment. If you don't have the down payment, all right, and you don't necessarily qualify some of these other loan options, Don't buy. Save up, get that 20% or as close to it as possible. All right. And then make it happen. All right. Then I talked about school districts, right? School districts. Schools change because kids change. Um, they go on to graduate. The incoming class may not be the same, so their grades can fluctuate also. So don't let that be your sole reason or your sole purpose for moving or buying a house in a specific area. Talked about the pressure of the Me Too. Okay, buying a house just because your friend from your childhood friend bought a house, right? Or the people at your church bought are buying houses. That's not a reason to buy a house. It's Buying a house is probably for a lot of people it's going to be their biggest financial purchase or their biggest um, really financial transaction that they'll do in their lives. You want to make sure it's right. You want to make sure it's right. Okay. Talk about credit score. If your credit score is low, wait a few months and get it where it needs to be. Get it where it's to be. Don't lock yourself up into a commitment or a mortgage. Um, um, I guess a relationship that's not that's not favorable. Wait. Okay, the real estate agent can wait for their commission. Okay, they can wait a few months for that. All right. Next, you have lifestyle. If you're always traveling, or if you're always moving, if you know, or if you have plans to not be in the area that you're in, don't buy a house. Wait. Okay, wait until you've settled and you made the decision. Okay, this is where I want to be. This is where I'm going to be for the next 5, 10, 15 years. Then, then then you can buy a house. All right. Talk about debt. Debt. If you are in debt, you have significant amount of debt. Guess what? Getting a mortgage or buying a house. Again, you're buying a mortgage. You're not necessarily buying a house. You're buying a mortgage. Okay. So that's adding more debt onto what you already have. So it may be best for you to pay off the debt. Right. Pay off the debt and then buy a house, because then that's going to even make you be even more qualified and more and look even better, right, as a borrower to the mortgage companies, because now your debt and income ratio now is like this instead of like this, right? All right. Um, and of course, lastly is if you qualify, right? For example, I remember years back I got something in the mail. Says that we this community was giving the home zero down payment, zero this, zero that, and it was like 869 for the mortgage, and we were excited, so we went there and and we were qualified to do it, but it was not. After talking to somebody else, they told me no, that's not. For once, the area was not really where we wanted to be, but just because you qualify or you get or you pre-approved doesn't mean you need to buy a house. Okay. Remember, I am here to educate, empower, and inform you on to make you an informed and educated buyer. So when you're making a decision, you're making the right decision. You're making decisions for you. Again, this is about you. Again, this is it. This is it for today. I wanted to just come on and share those things with you. If you have any questions, feel free to just send me a message in my inbox. If you have any concerns, if you whatever it is, just shoot me an email. You can text me 407-575-4428. Again, that's 407-575-4428, and just ask me whatever you need to ask. Um, if you're looking to buy a home, if you're looking to sell a home, if you're looking to invest in a home, I'm your guy. Give me a call, give me a shout out, and let's go to work. But let's make sure you're ready. Let's make sure you're ready first. All right. Thank y'all for tuning in. I'll be back next week, next Monday, 12 p.m. noon, right here, live. These aren't pre-recorded. Okay, it's live. So I'm gonna come on here, um, and I'm just giving it to you straight up, raw, no filter, every Monday, 12 p.m. right here on Facebook Live. All right, go ahead and do me a favor and just go ahead and you can like, share this video, um, and definitely go watch it later on the YouTube channel, Derilus TV. All right, thank you guys. Have a blessed day. See you next week.